Hello everyone. I'm really delighted. Actually, my presentation will be in English. It was requested before, so I will do it in English. It's a great pleasure to be here with sharing the stage with distinguished speakers and also share our experiences with such kind of an audience. So I'm really pleased to be here. So I will talk about the convergence between the exponential technologies and the UX. And also we start with the questions that we already have from our clients. Actually, our clients, the executives, has some questions. And these are, what's going on? And what to do about it? And we have also sub-questions. It's not that complicated in the Game of Thrones. But they are saying that actually in the past we were doing some good things, they worked, but now it doesn't work. So what to do about it? Or do I have a clearly articulated strategy that I can tackle with these exponential technologies or trends? Or how do I disrupt the market or the other houses? Or should I take seriously IoT and cloud and work on it? And if so, how can I continue with my ongoing activities and relationships? So these are the really basic questions that the executives are asking. The answer is not that complicated in the Game of Thrones, but the answer is the digital transformation. Actually, it is what we call imagine, deliver, and run the future. So it's not about the customer operations, it's not about sales marketing, it also affects finance, tax, supply chain. Even in mergers and acquisitions are based on the digital transformation era. And we would like to understand and define the ambition of the companies and also define the way how they can reach the targets. So the different thinking is needed in this digital era because what we call is, this is the connectivity, because all of the engagement models are now connected. Our internal customers, external customers, vendors, products, services, all are connected with each other. And there are new technologies that changes the human interaction and defines the new way of interacting with the products. Automation of the customer operations, internal operations are always on the new line. And data intelligence is the new fuel of customer experience. And it boosts the experience a lot. So we tackle it definitely. And the experience innovation, because we are all talking about new business models, value networks, and all other stuff that's actually connecting all of the different thinking needed in the ecosystem. And different doing is needed as well. I mean, it starts from defining the brand, value proposition, ambition, and also experience, engagement, internal operations, and also platforms and the data that you want to have or that you have. Basically, to deliver what is imagined, we actually define it under 5 different areas, which are: you should win the customer, you should digitize the core, the supporting systems, you should activate the data, because the companies are sitting on the data and doing nothing with it. You should start to own the platform if you're not investigated yet, and you should transform the enterprise, starting from IT operations to ways of working internally. So, any predictions? What's coming next? Is winter coming? So, what we do is, globally, we are trending the trends. We have technology predictions, consumer predictions, and TMT, technology, media, and telecom predictions. So, for the last 8 to 10 years, we are aggregating all of the trends, and we are actually getting the accuracy of these predictions each year. So, I would like to talk about some of the exponential technologies that are predicting and relating with the UX. Actually, what we call the exponential disruption forces, we divide it into 2. The first one is the technology innovations. It is the cognitive systems, IoT, networks and sensors, 3D printing, AR, VR, biotechnology, quantum computing, and the rest. And we also have the people and the process innovations. They are crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, sharing economy, do-it-yourself, democratization of doing things, gamification, maker movement, mobile and social economy. So these are all the exponential technologies that are shaping the business. But the interesting thing is not the list. The interesting thing is they are converging, meaning that they are starting to be used together and boosting each other. So it creates a different effect. That's called exponential technologies. So actually these technologies have been in the market for years and years, for networks, sensors, IoT, starting from 70s, we are dealing with it. So what's next? What is new? The thing is, as I said, they are mixing and they are converging together. And to understand the impact of exponential concept, I would like to give you an example. So think about taking 30 steps. So when you linearly think, each step is 1 meter, and after 30 steps, you go to 30 meters to the door. But if you take exponential steps, meaning that each step is 2 times of the previous step. So first step is 1 meter, second 2, third 4, 5, 8, 6, 16. So after 30 steps, where are you? Any guess? It's actually 1 billion meters. And it's about 26 times around the Earth. And it's more than going to the moon and coming back. So exponential thinking is very different because we think linear, but technology is exponentially moving forward. Now I will show you some examples. The famous saying of Bill Gates is, why we don't understand this, because we are tending to overestimate what we can do in 1 or 2 years, but underestimate what can happen in 10 years. So that's the basic technology productivity improvement and how we think things are going forward. And this is mostly actually technology productivity develops. We can track it based on the capacity of performance or with the price performance ratios. So when you compare the same functionality, so 7 or 8 or 10 years before, so you can see that prices is highly dropped, like 40 times, 1,000 times, 200 times, but we have same functionality. So this exponential productivity makes it really accessible to everyone, so it is democratized, and it becomes ubiquitous. So it is used everywhere, and we cannot distinguish it with what was the life before or what's now. So it's becoming ubiquitous. So what is actually meaning for UX? Let's talk about it. So who is using touch IDs on their smartphones? Okay, great. So what Deloitte predicts is the active base of touch IDs or fingerprint readers will reach 1 billion this year, and it's the first time. And 90% of it is smartphones and tablets. And each active sensor will be used an average of 30 times a day. So it will aggregate like 10 trillion finger passes over a year. So it is really the catalyst for a lot of use cases, actually, in retail, in schools, in checking in, security purposes, access to your online data account, or online payments, so everything will be affected by biometric security testing. And fingerprint is really the frontier in the biometric area, since it's more usable than face, voice, or iris recognition technologies. So, what's the next frontier in navigation? Do you know the accuracy of 4G network for navigation? It's around like 50 meters. we use the outdoor navigation. And the accuracy of GPS is a few meters. So how about if we have the accuracy of 5 to 10 centimeters? So what the potential is actually the indoor navigation. So what we predict is, at least a quarter of all human and machine intelligence will use digital navigation indoors, I mean inside the buildings, airports, stadiums, universities, hospitals, shopping malls. So these kind of big areas which will have indoor maps, and together with the combination of these technologies, we will have 5 to 10 centimeters of accuracy. And what we predict is it will have the same disruptive impact as outdoor navigation created for the last years. So we will have new business models and we will improve the existing ones. And actually this is the indoor map of Istanbul Atatürk Airport. Actually it's not listed on Google Maps, but I found it, and it's the first floor of the navigation. And there are hundreds of indoor maps available, which is open for developers. And also Apple introduced a software developer kit where you can use these indoor maps and create new apps for digital navigation. And the second, third thing is actually brains on the edge. Actually what we call is mobile learning or machine learning will go mobile. And actually this machine learning concept is, let me introduce it. When you type I, for example, on your keyboard, on your iPhone, it will automatically create the big I, if it's set in English. And this is actually pre-programmed. I mean, somebody programmed it to correct it when you type a lower I. This is not machine learning, this is pre-programmed. The thing is, the machine learning and artificial intelligence will be combining together in our smartphones, and it will detect the consumer anticipation and then improve the UX and create new behaviors, although it's not connected on the network. So this will create a huge impact on our cell phones. Actually, the current iPhone, for example, is like 60 times stronger in terms of machine learning capacity than the computer that was used for designing the Boeing model. So it is really the machine learning and mobile capacity is in our hands. And it's also not limited to smartphones. It is the drones, it is the connected vehicles, IoT devices, AR, VR devices, medical tools. So everything can be augmented with or enriched with these machine learning capabilities. And the next thing is mixed reality. And what we expect is this will be the fundamental big shift in user experience. Because when you look at each successive improvement in user interface patterns, we started from keys and typings, then point and click, and touch and swipe, and now talking is in place. So it is really shifting the user interface. But this mixed reality will create a new environment where digital and physical objects come together and interact their data. So this is the actual collision of AR, VR, and IoT technologies. So you will have in the real environment the virtual objects that's interacting with you. So it is what we call actually beyond the glass. So we are now all used to interact with the glass surfaces, and this will change fundamentally the user interface in that sense. And what's the keyword for boosting the UX? It's actually personalization. Today you will hear more about personalized offerings in the afternoon sessions, but I would like to touch upon it because it is the thing that is boosting user experience with the help of analytics. So in our Tech Trends report, we use dark analytics as a new concept because as you can see, the digital universe, which is expanding, we are actually using a small portion of this digital universe. So We have data from embedded systems, we have data from mobile devices and people, and some of them we are analyzing. And the total size of the digital universe will be 44 zettabytes. Do you know what zettabyte is? It's actually 44 trillion gigabytes. So does it mean anything? No. So it is actually, close to the number of stars in the universe as gigabits. So it's really going very big, because what we expect is the data will be created each and every 12 months will double. So every year we'll double the size of the data created from mobile devices, IoT devices, and also deep web. Actually, it's very hard to estimate the size of the deep web, but it's not indexed, so it is really hard to estimate, but it's around 5 times harder than the surface web that we know today. So the thing is taking all of the data sources, which is unstructured, and as you see, 90% of the data is unstructured. So it's not recorded, it is really floating in the web. And there are several use cases, but you can imagine that it's implemented in retail stores, so online, real-time, personalized, not for segment, personalized recommendations for the consumers during shopping, in the store, on the web, anywhere. And also, for example, Stitch Fix. So this is an online subscription-based service where you enter your preferences, you give permission to the Stitch Fix to access to your social media accounts. They are crawling all of the data about you, plus they are also trending the fashion and consumer preferences, and then they make personalized individual style offerings for the consumer. So it's creating a lot of attention in the marketplace, and it is using the unstructured data, basically. And while concluding, what we call is Valadares, which is actually, we try to frame the business of the future. We are now doing restaurant of the future projects, future dealer projects, future consumer projects, where we try to imagine first the future, and then we try to help our clients to go there in the implementation phase. This is not only the publications that we share, we actually try to innovate on behalf of our customers and innovate together with our customers on behalf of the consumers. So trying to innovate the unthinkable. But the ingredients are really critical. First, we should have the innovation in place. So new business models, new ways of working. Tech enablement is a critical component in the scenario, so you should have a clear understanding of which technology will win in the future. You should have a good industry know-how. Of course, service design, creative skills are important to catch the consumer, and also data, to use the data, to frame the data, and owning all of the platform around it. So it's what we call is, it's really time to change in terms of thinking. And if you would like to have the slides, you can just email me or give your card to our colleagues at Deloitte booth. Thank you very much.